That's gross. But I suppose I'll take it. I'll keep going if I get like a 422 charge. I'll take it. It's a nasty, but I don't care. What am I doing? Really? How was this not working? Ugh! Ew! Get me out of here, dude. This is terrible. That was pathetic. pathetic. Ugh. Man, my neck feels a lot better. Sucks trying to run this game, and then I had random controller issues. Guys, we, need to have a, cough discussion, because today I was bored and reading through the old threads. I want to make my opinion clear if I haven't already. The cap needs to be 15 hertz, maybe 20 hertz. There's plenty of evidence, not only behind this, but my personal values. Because inclusivity is important to me, and I think about the runners who cannot mash, or it hurts for them to mash, it's important to put a cap that everyone can not only compete at, but it can get a world record at, which, by the way, would be 17 hertz. Why I'm saying 17 hertz is because there are plenty of good controllers that hit 17 hertz. Please? Fine. Anyway, you need to understand that 12 hertz cannot be an acceptable cap. Recently, I've measured that I can mash at 20 hertz. Let me kill Corp first. I love you. Let's go. So anyway, that's what we call a good fight. Kind of back to, what I was talking about. Nice. Yeah, so basically, I'm basing off my arguments of one, humans can actually mash that fast. Me and B-Dog are the best. Second, I think about others who want to speedrun this game, and then they just don't want to run. And many good runners have left and never came back. Sam Boner and I think Rubik's Cuber, It's important to allow turbo where everyone can compete. I just think about the people who need turbo, and they have RSI or carpal tunnel, or just some really not so fun circumstance. In a while back, March of this year, I put a thread, and basically I was ignored because 15 hertz wasn't ample enough. And basically, I have found Zas and a lot of people like Oates can actually mash as fast as I can. I found 19 people who can do zero lock gold skip. I think 3/4 can do zero lock gold skip. Correct me on that. I also think that if a human can do it, so can turbo, and turbo and no turbo should be the same. What? What do you mean? That was terrible. This isn't good. So, when we're discussing turbo, we need to consider the following things. One, can a human do it? Second, because capping turbo sets a certain incentive in place, because when you cap turbo, it means the fastest they can ever go. And when we set a 15 hertz cap, I mean, that's a little slower, but we also want to keep competitive fairness in play here. I was reading through the old threads, and apparently 15 hertz is not ample enough. 15 hertz and weaving and 15 hertz and no weaving, if I can do it, if I can mash it 20 hertz, which by the way I can, using Arkanox's turbo tester, if I can do that, then I can then certainly we can consider 15, maybe even 20 hertz into play, but 30 hertz would be crossing the line. No more than I think, I'm not too sure about 20 hertz, but 17 hertz would absolutely be a perfect cap. Because 17 hertz is enough to get a world record without crossing the line too much. But they don't like the fact that I'm suggesting such things. They don't like weaving. They don't like turbo mega stream, which, by the way, I can manually mash. So allow that too. Maybe not bombless backdoor flash, but allow turbo mega stream. Skip the cutscene. Give me a headlock. I love you. I got the headlock. So again, chat, I'm showing you perfect RNG. My viewers will almost never get a one. What the heck? I almost never get a 154. That's called the edge of perfection, my friends. You need to know that people should be able to be welcomed and feel like they can compete. Especially people like Rubik's Keeper, who, by the way, is a 40-year-old man who has carpal tunnel and RSI, which are bad. If I ever get button mashing from RSI, and just because I can mash at 19 hertz doesn't mean I'm not pro turbo. In fact, I'm very pro turbo. I'm pro turbo at 17 hertz. Learning that 15 hertz can actually be the cap due to controller availability. 17 hertz is my adjusted value. However, I've been lied to about the controllers, unintentionally, of course. Jan is awesome. But the controller I have, the FunLab Firelight, has a 16.6 hertz, or so I thought. It actually is 20 hertz on the high setting. I use a 16, it's 16.6, and I use it for rando. Question, why allow 17 hertz for rando, not vanilla runners? That's just confusing. And also, why split the board for boss run? I do not agree with that. When people like Fortify say, oh, push yourself, not everyone can mash like he and I. Let's just get one. Finally, dude. I get a good run. When people like Fortify say that, it's like not everyone can mash like him or I or Arcandy or B-Doc. Not everyone's gonna have the same abilities, you know? Let me do water plot skip and then I can explain more. Not everyone's gonna have, like, you know, the same abilities. People are gonna want to use turbo for, you know, comfortability, which I understand. Because until February of this year, I could not button mash. And that's why I didn't like the turbo cap, because, well, I actually like 12 hertz weave. It was banning weaving, that's the problem. But when I saw B-Dog completely overpower bosses, when he got the 106, it's like, maybe I should say something. That's what I did. And as someone who has currently 37th place on the leaderboard, it's important for me to voice my opinions on the matter. Because I am, well, not only a community member, but I'm starting to become well known, and I'm already coming in with a lot of skills. So I just think it's important to include everyone in competition, and I think it's important to set a cap to where everyone can do it, no matter what. And that is why I truly think 17 hertz should be the cap. This isn't being unreasonable or about me. This is about everyone who needs turbo, especially Arkanox. I read in an old post that it said it hurt him to mash. Not everyone can mash at 20 hertz like me or B-Dog. I'm definitely a top masher, and I don't use the raking technique. Instead, I use my D-pad. And sometimes it's like, you need turbo. I view turbo as a necessity, and I don't think 17 hertz is cheating any time saves. Man, my movement sucked here today. I really don't think 17 hertz is cheating time save nor turbo mega stream. It's more of a way to avoid health risks. Even though the discussion is 2 years old now. Basically so. And it's almost 2 years since they banned 15 hertz. Wait. I don't know if the cap was 20 or 15. That's actually hard to track. Anyway, if you want to challenge if you want to, like, say something about my opinions, feel free to comment on this video later. That is, if we're going to save it. You need to, like, understand that not everyone can mash like fast as I can. Not everyone can hit 15 hertz. Or even, like, 12 hertz at all. Thank you. I'm getting, like, a really good magnet time today. Okay. Yeah, anyway, it's like, what you're about to see here is what everyone should be able to do. You're about to see why I want Turbo Mega Stream. Because if a human like me can do that, and B-Dog can do that, then we should allow a 17 hertz cap to allow that technique. Turbo Mega Stream is not cheating free time save because I just demonstrated that I can do it. This is really bad. Oh my gosh. This is tragic, but I should gain a couple seconds back because I actually got in position. This is horrible. There goes 6 seconds down the drain, my friends. It's still possible to PP. If you have to hear about my turbo beliefs, anyone, that includes you, Manny, May, Sat, Metatron, Ark, Jay, if anyone has to hear, I don't care what you think. You need to know that I want a 17 hertz cap, which is, by the way, more realistic. I know one person that I actually know right now that would approve of my opinions. And this person may surprisingly actually be in the Discord server. There are people who actually approve of my opinions, but not a lot. And because I am a top runner of this game, that is not being a top runner, falling down and getting hit like that. I've not been playing well today. Way better, actually. Because you need turbo to avoid so many health risks that are actually been proven. Thank you! Goody! Finally out of here. So anyway, we're out of Artaria. There, I just made it 4 seconds. So anyway, it's important to share my turbo beliefs. You have to understand inclusivity is an important thing no matter what. You always have to include people no matter what, because otherwise that's not very kind, personally. You have to. Here's the thing. Any verifier in old and current Sam, you watching this, you have to understand how important allowing 17 hertz turbo is and weaving, because if a human like me can mash 19 to 20 hertz consistently, then turbo should be able to do it too. Turbo at 12 hertz isn't simply feasible anymore. I mean, it was great that 15 was being discussed, and allowing turbo was great. We've just taken the wrong path. An attempt to balance turbo was fine, but it's not balanced. It's not even close to balance. 12 hertz no weave is not even close. Plus, what's wrong with tapping an R button? Mashing a button, tapping R is way more dangerous than just tapping R. There's far less health risks. If you don't know if I can mash at 19 hertz, you're talking to a 19 hertz masher here, which, by the way, I can mash faster than WeMac. Maybe even more consistently than B-Dog. Oh, I can't do 19 hertz every day. Well, guess what? I can do 19 hertz every day. Nope, I did not get up a boost, which is fine. You're just hearing my turbo beliefs, which is okay. You need to know, everyone who's a Dread speedrunner needs to know that I'm in approval of a 17 hertz cap. I know many of you are going to say, absolutely not, Metro. We will not allow such abominations. But again, I'm speaking out of my heart, and I'm speaking for others who would need turbo. And that's really bad. Dude, can I make it? Why you always grab one take? Because otherwise, if I did 0, I would have died. Which would have been tragic. You have to understand, again, I may just be repeating myself. All I'm trying to say is that, alright, how about this? My main arguments are going to be this. For 17 hertz, 1, humans can do it. Many humans, it's not impossible by any means. It's difficult, sure, but people who need turbo or have their hands severely injured from other stuff or just prone to risks need a 17 hertz turbo controller. Second, it's competitively fair. Third, no one should ever play a video game without ever having to feel pain. It's ridiculous and a really dumb thing. It's really dumb to expect for people to have to hurt themselves playing a video game. That we should never hold people to that standard. We should hold people to standard for whether they want to button mash. And here's the thing. People can mash at 15 hertz with ease. I'm one example, and 18 to 19 more examples. Justin Zane can do it. I can do it. B-Dog can do it. Noyazaki can do it. WeMac can do it. Oats, Zenny, who else? Devlord can do 17 hertz. Fortify can hit 15. Grubdog, I think, can hit 15. And others, which I might leave something in the comments. I haven't decided yet. Anyway, time for skipping of the atom. Come on. What is with this trick, dude? There. 4. Ew. I'm not getting good atoms today. Anyway, you have an issue. You personally have a problem if it hurts you more to do atom skip for 30 minutes than button mash for 2 minutes straight. That means you have a lot of problems. No offense to anyone, but that means I highly recommend, for your own sake, please switch to using a turbo controller. We would never force you to use a turbo controller because if you want to button mash, do that. If you don't, if it hurts you to play video games, either take a break or just use a turbo controller. And allow it at such a high speed so that way if you hurt, you can just emulate what you can do without pain. That's the whole point of why turbo was designed. And I believe turbo's been out for the entirety of speedrun. Vol'jin agrees with all my points so far. Oh dear, that was close. No! Why? I know if you leave a comment, Satora, you're gonna say absolutely not. 12 hertz no weave is the cap. We're not talking about this. I'm going to see your comment and I'm going to respectfully disagree with it. However, you can uphold your opinions much as you like. I'm not going to stop talking about this. Shoot the block! Imagine if this run PBs and then everyone can watch. But no one can stop me because this isn't on Discord, so you can't shut down the servers. Plus, this is my own dinner table. This is awful, dude. You know, today may not be my best day, which is fine. What is with these mistakes? I don't know what I was talking about. But anyway, you can uphold all your opinions you want. I'm just respectfully stating mine. I might be getting a 630, which would be nice. which means no additional time losses. You need to understand these are inclusion-based arguments, and these are what people realistically can achieve. Okay, I only lost 1 second. That's huge. I'm only making arguments based on what humans can actually do. I don't want a 40 hertz cap, even though that doesn't exist. I'm trying to state that I just want turbo to be comparable to manual mashing. 12 hertz is not a valid argument, and that's for a lot of reasons. One, 12 hertz for people who clearly can't mash or it hurts them to is basically, it means, oh, we're giving you a permanent disadvantage because you have a physical injury you can't possibly solve. That, one, my friends, is disrespectful. Two, once I have my Twitch chat, I will have one rule. Stuff like, oh, you can just turn on the turbo to manually weave will result in a permaban. Never say that comment to anyone, especially me. That is extremely, one, disrespectful to me. Two, it's also disrespectful to Rubik's Keyboard because he needs turbo. I prefer turbo because no one wants to mash 19 hertz on Ravenbeak, especially tapping the R button. So if you say stuff like, like, you can just turn on and off the turbo, or turbo's a clean beam, are really dumb arguments, because this is about, I'm thinking of turbo as someone's only option to playing the game. Not necessarily comfortability, but I also want to consider comfortability too, because people like Ark want turbo because it hurts their hands. Nice, I'm on plus. And it's just also nice to not tech smash all the time. And my hands need breaks, so that's why I use turbo. Plus, people need turbo controllers, believe it or not. Your body can't mash for 3 minutes straight without getting tired. Even B-Dog gets tired. And B-Dog's like one of the best mashers ever. And I'm one of the best mashers ever. It's important to listen to people who have reasonable arguments. I consider myself reasonable, considering the number of times I've read back through the thread and how I presented myself. In some ways, I feel like I didn't present myself very well. While in others, I feel like I presented myself pretty well. Because when people say stuff like, oh, just do RB sync, when I'm clearly not skilled enough to do Ravenbeak sync routes, which at that time I wasn't. Now I do it, and I don't really have interest in running UR maybe right now. I'll maybe come back to it at some point. I don't know. But here's the thing: going to get wave and fight Ravenbeak were my only choices of time save, which means it's like 12 hertz is just mocking people with that can't mash. 6, even though you can go higher, because here's the thing: even 16 hertz would be slower than what Raking can achieve, with, by the way, is 22 hertz. I'm 3 hertz away. I'm 2 hertz away from matching Raking. Yay! No dumb time losses on this split. This is a good run. Again, rapidly pressing buttons, especially in some ways that could potentially be unsafe, is not good. I also think that don't force people to use turbo, but definitely educate on what can happen. See how hard that is? Not everyone can do that. I'm presenting samples of humanly viable things. I am one such. We're not forcing you to buy a turbo controller. Plus, turbo is like $20. Turbo is literally cheaper. Turbo's cheaper than mashing, believe it or not. If you don't believe me, because if you happen to get hand injuries, then I don't know what to tell you there. It would suck. I would feel sorry for you, but here's the thing. Surgeries will present more costs than button mashing, than turbo. Button mashing turbo is safer, It is cheaper, in fact, because you have to buy one controller, and then you can avoid so many health risks. I'm only mashing on my own discretion. Once it gets unsafe for me, I will stop, which would be unfortunate, because then my times would be screwed, and I wouldn't be... Here's one... Like, here's the thing, if someone used a 16 Hz controller, I don't think it would be so bad, because if someone can mash that, then it's like, why ban it then? Because it's the same. I've read through the Discord server, through old threads, countless times. I don't understand why people want to cap turbo. I genuinely don't. It's weird. Anyway, putting pause. Well, so far an okay run. Which, imagine if this run PB'd. Which is very likely. I still have like 2.5 minutes of time save left. Which means either a perfect movement with perfect loads, obviously. Again, I kind of had all to say. If more's on my mind, we can go back to the conversation. Wonder how many views on YouTube will this get. I do like the decisions the mod team... I like some of the decisions the mod team has made. The board split's different because because there are ways to actually down patch and up patch pretty easily, which when doing versions with legacy and stuff, it's not much of an issue of inclusion. What was I doing? Chatting with you all. That's what I was doing, not playing my game. Glad I realized, because nothing would activate. All I had to do was walk a couple inches, and I wasted frames for no reason at all. Which is lovely. Currently on my channel, I have a video called My Turbo Beleifs Old. This will be my Turbo Beleifs Current, because if this run doesn't PB, I might be saving time, I might be losing... Not terrible. Honestly, not terrible. This run is remaining super consistent. I'm really happy with that. Again, when it comes down to movement, it's not a matter of inclusion, it's a matter of skill, because someone can have better movement than you. That's normal. That's how competition is supposed to work. But when that's supposed to work is basing boss fights on different people's abilities and whether they can button mash or not. Because for one, I was terrible at button mashing until February, that was. And then that was the first time I actually hit 15 Hz. Competition should be equal. It should be about comfortability, and speedrunning should be a safe and fun activity, not where you can go to the hospital and get RSI. That's not what this is about. This is a fun hobby where we get to literally destroy enemy robots and the evil big green time waster. That's what this game should be about. Love how my best possible time's a 1:16:06. By the way, I'm not doing SAS because I haven't learned it, and I'm going to learn it at some point. Then I'm probably going to grind for like a 1:13 or maybe even 1:12. Probably pushing to top 15. I know many people are already going to disagree with... What is with that? That is so disgusting and weird. What is with these mistakes? Currently I have to grab a specific amount of ammo because of the rules. Currently I could theoretically do 40 missiles, but I like having the extra ammo for Kraid. I'll maybe do 34 till I do Charlie's. That was awful, actually. Come on. What dude? What sucks is I need back paddles, and I have to undown my back pedal every time I want a D-pad mash. Thank you for giving me claws first. This is what I mean by 15 Hz should be allowed, because if I can do that with ease, why can't Why can't Turbo be allowed to do that? I literally don't get the point. I thought 12 Hertz Weave was actually an equal cap, but I've been proven wrong again. As it's been over a year since the initial ban. Will you die, Cray? Oh my gosh, that was a spicy fight. That's what. Oh my gosh, this is huge. Horrible mistakes, and we're -5 ahead. Oh my gosh, I have a potential 11 seconds coming up. More like 12 because I'm playing on a different Switch. Just so you all know, I'm actually playing on multiple Switch, which, by the way, Sat has. What? Dude, what is with these mistakes? Even if this run doesn't PB, we're saving this VOD to YouTube because the world needs to know that I think the current turbo regulations are actually messed up and ableist. Craft would be like, no, it's not fair. Imagine if someone was doing steroids. This is not what this is about, by the way. This is me respectfully voicing my opinions as a community member. This is all this is about. I actually got a good crane split for once. I often get like 301s to 303s, which is sad considering that was my time a year ago. Anyway, we're going to do some early of the grapple called the coyote jump. Let me focus, and then we can then I can complain about how the cap isn't equal enough. No! Nope! Why did that happen? That's a reset. That's really bad. Gonna